Good morning, students. This is the third lecture for lead modification and structure activity relationship study, that is second chapter. Now in the previous lecture we completed 10 strategies for lead modification, lead structure modification. Now one more strategy is there in the syllabus, that is 11th strategy, lead modification by the process of rigidification. Rigidification of a lead. Now this process of lead modification, this strategy for the structural modification of lead is used to prevent a conformational changes. It is the best strategy used to prevent the conformational changes of the lead molecule. That is, we have a lead compound, that is a lead molecule with a side chain, and also with a flexible bond, then there is a possibility of conformational changes for a lead molecule. That is, a lead molecule consisting of a side chain with a flexible bond like a single bond, there is a chance to change its conformations and exist in many conformations. Now if there is a chance to change the conformation, the lead may be existed in different conformations, more than one conformation. That is, in that case a lead may be interacted with more than one target within its different conformations. When there is a different conformations, every conformation may interact with more than one targets. That leads to a side effect. That is, in brief, if a lead changes its conformations in a biological system, it may be interacted with more than one target with its n number of conformations. So that leads to a side effect. Example, you take histamine. Histamine with its side chain, due to conformational changes, it existed in Gaussian conformation as well as staggered conformation. Now in Gaussian conformation, it interacted with the alpha adrenoreceptor. In staggered conformation, it interacted with beta adrenoreceptor. Now molecule is the same, but the only difference is the conformational changes. One conformation is in Gaussian, the other conformation in the staggered. You see the difference. In the Gaussian conformation, interacted with alpha adrenoreceptor. In the beta conformation, it interacted with the beta adrenoreceptor. One interaction leads to allergy, the other interaction leads to ulcer. Is it clear? So the molecule is the same, but only difference in the conformation, that is stereochemistry, only difference in the conformational change leads to interaction with more than one target, followed by a side effect will be elicited from the lead molecule. So that our aim is to prevent its a conformational change. We have a lead with a side chain of a flexible bond. There may be possibility of conformational changes when we apply to the human body. Inside the human body, it may change its conformation and existed in so many conformations. That leads to interaction with so many targets and leads to side effect. So that the structural modification of the lead, during the structural modification, it is also important to prevent the conformational change. We should prevent the conformational change of the molecule by the process of rigidification. Rigidification is the process used to prevent the conformational change. That is, it involved rigidification of a flexible bond. Do not rotate. The groups or atoms which are attached by the carbon do not rotate through the single bond. So this is the rigidification. For example, you take adrenaline. Adrenaline existed in eclipsed conformation as well as in staggered conformation. For example, now pH, OH, this is OH group, carbon here, this is pH group, a hydrogen attached with NH2CH3, a plus charge. This is an adrenaline. Is it clear? OH, pH, hydrogen and NH2CH3. Now it is staggered conformation where the OH group and NH2 plus group both are opposite with respect to each other. This is a staggered conformation. Staggered conformation. Now it existed. It may change its conformation by the process of rotation from staggered to eclipsed conformation. You see, carbon single bond is there, that is flexible bond. Due to the presence of flexible bond, one carbon along with its group attached may rotate with respect to the other carbon, the second carbon, leads to change in the conformation from staggered to eclipsed conformation. This is HO, carbon, phenyl ring, hydrogen, NH2CH3 plus charge. Now this is eclipsed where OH and NH2 plus group. These two groups are on the same side. This is eclipsed. So the molecule is the same, but due to CC bond rotation along with the groups attached with respect to one another leads to change in the conformation. So it existed in staggered conformation as well as eclipsed conformation. Now in the staggered conformation, say this is the target. Say this is the target which consisting say OH group and COOH group. COOH group. A target has OH functional group and carboxylic acid, that is COO minus group. The OH group involved in the hydrogen bonding with OH presence on adrenaline. Similarly, the COO minus group involved in the ionic interaction with the NH2 group, with NH2 plus group. So this is the binding interactions. One is hydrogen bonding interaction, the other one is ionic interactions. So possible for staggered and eclipsed. For eclipsed, say this is OH group of ligand, this is COO minus group of ligand, the OH involved in the hydrogen bonding, this involved in the ionic bonding. You can see molecule is the same, but due to the flexible bond, due to the rotation of CC single bond, it existed in two conformation. One is staggered and other one is eclipsed conformation. Now both the conformations, staggered conformation involved one hydrogen bonding, one ionic bonding. Eclipsed also involved in one ionic and one hydrogen bonding. So because of two conformations, it interacted with more than one target. When interacted, now this conformation interacted with one specific target, the Gauss eclipsed conformation interacted with the other specific target which is not desired. So when the molecule existed in more than one conformation, there may be possibility to interact with undesired target also, the target which is not desired, get also interacted with that. That leads to the side effect. So what we have to do, we have to modify the structure in such a way so that there may not be change in the conformation. So we should prevent the conformation. If we want a staggered conformation, then we should prevent its conformational change, or if we want the eclipsed conformation, we should prevent its conformational, its rotation, carbon CC single bond rotation. So when we prevent its conformational change, the molecule is existed only in the desired conformation, therefore it interacted only with the desired target, so that there may not be any side effect. So the process of restriction of rotation or the process of restriction of conformational change by the process of rigidification is called as rigidification of the lead. So for this molecule, now for this molecule we may prevent its process of change of conformation like this. This is carbon, this is phenyl group, this is nitrogen CH3 group, nitrogen CH3 group. Now when we add certain group like this, now what happens, you see, before this is the rigidification, this is the rigidified. Now before this rigidification, there is a free rotation of CC single bond. When free rotation of CC single bond, it may change its conformation. When we rigidify the molecule, what we have done, we have added two additional carbons. One carbon bound with the first carbon, the other carbon bound with the nitrogen. So with this rigidification, there is no rotation, free rotation of single bond, CC single bond. Therefore there is no conformational change. So the molecule is existed in a desired conformation only. So this is the helpful to prevent the conformational changes of the lead molecule. So with this, the lead modification strategies were completed. Now we are going to study about the discovery of 4 drugs. One is oxaminoquin, other one is salbutamol, the other one is cimetidine, the other one is captopril. These are the 4 drugs included in the syllabus. For that we have for the study of their discoveries. Now first one. Now after the completion of strategies, we are going to study about discoveries of a specified drug in the syllabus. Number 1, discovery of oxaminoquin. The first discovery of oxaminoquin. Now oxaminoquin is a drug. It is used for the treatment of schistosomiasis disease. This drug is used for the treatment of schistosomiasis. Schistosomiasis disease. This is the disease caused to the human when a person contacted with the infected water during the swimming. A schistosomiasis disease is a disease caused to the human when a person contacted with the infected water, that is probability during the swimming. Therefore a oxaminoquin was developed for the treatment of schistosomiasis disease. Oxaminoquin drug was developed based on leucanthine. Based on the oxaminoquin was developed from the lead compound, that is leucanthine. Leucanthine is a tricyclic compound which is active in some forms of parasites. So leucanthine is a tricyclic derivative as a lead. It is active in some kind of parasites. Therefore, the leucanthine was chosen as a lead for the development of oxaminoquine. Now, coming to leucanthine structure. This is benzene ring. This is sulfur C double bond O, sulfur C double bond O. One more benzene ring, CH3 group here, NH group here, N, ethyl, ethyl, ethyl and ethyl. So this is leucanthine. This is ring A, ring B, ring C. Leucanthine. So for the development of oxaminoquine, leucanthine is chosen as a lead. Why? Because leucanthine is active in certain kinds of parasites. Therefore, this was chosen as a lead. So it is a tricyclic derivative consisting of ring A. The first ring is A, the second ring is B, the third ring is C. Is it clear? Now, however, it is active in certain kinds of parasites, but it shows some toxicity in human body. It is also toxic. However, leucanthine is active in a certain kinds of parasites, but it is also produce toxicity. So it is a toxic. It is a toxic. Therefore, to reduce the toxicity and to minimize its side effect. Are you following? Leucanthine is a tricyclic derivative consisting ABC rings. Now, however, it is active, but it also produces toxicity. Hence, its toxicity is reduced. In order to reduce the toxicity, or in order to remove the toxicity and also minimize the side effect associated with leucanthine, so many derivatives were prepared from the structure of leucanthine. That study indicated that so many derivatives which were prepared based on the leucanthine structure. During that study, that indicated that ring A and ring B are not essential for the activity. Ring A, first ring and second ring are not essential for the activity. Therefore, its structure was further modified by the process of removing A and B rings, because ring A, ring B are not essential. Therefore, ring A and ring B were removed to get a new derivative called as myrcene. Myrcene. After removing the two rings, ring A and ring B, NH, now this is ring C. Ring A and ring B was removed. In place of sulfur, chlorine is placed. Chlorine is substituted, that is sulfur is substituted with a chlorine. This is myrcene. This is myrcene. Is it clear? Now, after removing ring A, ring B, which are not essential for the activity, a myrcene was developed. Now, however, its activity was dramatically increased, but it is active only in mice. Active only in mice. However, it is active, but it is only active in the mice, not in the humans, due to the conformational change, due to the flexible bond. There is a flexible bond. Due to the conformational changes, it is active only in the mice, not in the human body. As the side effect, a lead, a myrcene consisting of a side effect which is flexible. There may be rotation. So due to the rotational conformational changes, it was active only in mice, not in human. Therefore, its conformational change is restricted by the process of rigidification. Are you following? So it is, however, it is active but not in human. What is the reason? The reason is due to the conformational flexible bond in the side chain that leads to conformational change. Therefore, its conformational change is restricted by the process of rigidification. Now, it can be rigidified in two ways. Say this is CH3, this is chlorine, it's nitrogen, N ethyl group and ethyl group. Now, this is the process of rigidification. What we have done? We have substituted orthocarbon and a nitrogen hydrogen of nitrogen in myrcene with this fragment. This is 6-membered ring, so that its rotation is restricted. Its rotation, due to the rigidification, the rotation get restricted. Is it clear? Now in another way, it can be prevented its conformational change. Say this is CH3, this is Cl group, NH group, CH2 group, NET and EP. Now, in another way, 1, 2, 3. No, 6-membered ring. CH2, N, ET. Now this is another way to restrict the conformational change. The first way, where the myrcene, earlier structure, in myrcene nitrogen and orthocarbon was substituted with this fragment to restrict the rotation of carbon nitrogen. Now in the second, this is first structure, this is second structure. Now in the second structure, where the conformational change is restricted by rigidifying involving a CH2 carbon of the side chain. There are two carbons in the side chain, CH2 carbon, a side chain carbon and orthocarbon of benzene is involved in the rigidification. This is the fragment we added. Are you following? What is the difference between these two? Rigidification is done involving nitrogen of myrcene and orthocarbon of myrcene. Now here, instead of nitrogen, a side chain carbon of myrcene and orthocarbon of myrcene is involved in the rigidification to restrict the carbon nitrogen rotation. So these are the two structures obtained when myrcene get rigidified. Why we are rigidified? Because due to conformational change, it is inactive in the humans, therefore rigidified. Now coming to structure 1. Now in structure 1, however, the activity is dramatically increased, but it is active only in monkey, not in human body. The first structure is active only in the monkey, not in human body, due to more basic nature of nitrogen. More basic nature of nitrogen. More basic, due to its more basic, because nitrogen is tertiary. More basic nature of nitrogen causes active only in monkey. It is not in human. So in the first structure, due to the more basic nature of nitrogen, it is active only in the monkey, not in the human body. Now tried with second one. Now with the help of structure 2. So structure 1 is inactive in the human, only active in monkeys. Coming to the second structure. Now second structure shows some activity in the human body, but it is also less active due to more basic nature of nitrogen. Therefore, the basic nature of nitrogen is reduced. The basic nature of nitrogen is reduced by replacement of chloro group with NO2 group, nitro group. So basic nature of nitrogens are reduced by introducing strong electron withdrawing group, that is NO2 group, in place of chlorine. Similarly, the CH3 group is transformed into, alkyl is transformed into alcohol, CH2OH. The other change, the two ethyl groups on nitrogen is replaced by isopropyl group. So with the second structure, to improve its activity, to reduce the basic nature of nitrogen, 3 changes were done. One is chlorine is replaced with NO2, CH3 group is transformed into alcohol, that is CH2OH, and NN diethyl group is replaced with a isopropyl group to get oxaminoquin. Now you see, now this group, chlorine is changed, replaced with NO2 group. CH3 group is transformed into CH2OH, and this diethyl group is replaced with isopropyl. So these are the 3 changes: NO2, CH2OH, and isopropyl. So due to the 3 changes, we will get oxaminoquin. Oxaminoquin drug. So this is about discovery of oxaminoquin. So it was first discovered from leucanthine. Leucanthine is a tricyclic derivative which is a toxic. To reduce its toxicity, various derivatives were prepared based on its structure, and found that first ring and second ring, A, B rings are not essential for the activity. Hence, removed A, B rings to get myrcene, where in place of sulfur, chlorine is placed. So myrcene is active only in mice due to conformational change. So it was rigidified into structure 1 and structure 2. Just now I have shown. The structure 1 shows more basic nature of nitrogen, resulted activity only in monkey, not in human. So that the second structure is somewhat active. Its activity is further increased by replacement of chlorine by nitrogen, more electron group, which reduce the basicity of nitrogen, and alkyl group is transformed into alcohol, and diethyl amine bulky group is replaced with a simple isopropyl group to get oxaminoquin. So this is the discovery, about the discovery of oxaminoquin. Is it clear? Now you have 4 discoveries in this chapter. After oxaminoquin, you have to study discovery of salbutamol, and the third one is discovery of cimetidine. Now the fourth discovery is discovery of captopril. So discovery of salbutamol, discovery of cimetidine, discovery of captopril, which we are studied in the first chapter. You can take salbutamol, cimetidine and captopril, which is antihypertensive. These three drug discoveries from the chapter 1, that is lecture of chapter 1, and I also provided a notes also. So with this discoveries, 4 discoveries were completed. One is discussed now, oxaminoquine was discussed just now. The remaining salbutamol, cimetidine and captopril, these 3 discoveries were covered in first chapter. You can hear the lecture in the first chapter video and you can take the notes in the first chapter. Is it clear? Now after this, the last topic is left over in this chapter, that is study of structure activity relationship of 3 drugs. One is sulfa drug, other one is benzodiazepine drug, the other one is Taxol analog. So we have to study the structure activity relationship for 3 drugs. Now structure activity relation study structure activity relationship studies the exact relation between the structure of the drug to that of its activity. Whatever the exact relation present between the structure of the drug with its activity is called a structure activity relationship. Structure activity relationship. The structure activity relationship study help us how and what to modify the structure, how and what part of the structure to be modified to minimize all unwanted properties and to improve its activity. Are you following? The exact relationship present between structure of the drug and its activity. There are 2 types of drug we have discussed in the first chapter: structurally specific drug, structurally non-specific drug. Structurally specific drugs are the drugs where their activities are depends upon structure. Structurally non-specific drugs are the drugs where the activity is not depends upon their structure. So first kind of the drug, structurally specific drug, where in all the structurally specific drug their activities are exclusively depends upon their structure. So the study of the exact relationship present between the structure of the drug to that of its activity is called a structure activity relationship study. This study help us what and how to modify the lead structure. Structure activity relationship study for any drug help what and how and what part of the lead structure to be modified in order to minimize all the unwanted properties and in order to increase the desired activity. So this is about use of the structure activity relationship study. So coming to the study of sulfa drug. Structure activity relationship study in sulfa drug. Sulfa drug. Now a sulfanilamide is included in the syllabus. NH2 group sulfanilamide. Structure activity relationship of sulfanilamide. Sulfanilamide. Sulfanilamide is an antibacterial drug. Antibacterial drug. Antibacterial drug. It consisting of one benzene ring with NH2 group, with NH2 group and S double bond O, S double bond O, NH2. This is the structure of sulfanilamide. It is a good antibacterial agent or drug. Is it clear? Now coming to its structure activity relationship study. So its antibacterial activity is related, is depends upon, the antibacterial activity is depends upon its structure. So we are going to study how it depends. Is it clear? How it depends. Number one, first one, the presence of sulfonamide, SO2NH2 group is essential for the activity. This is SO2NH2 group is important, is essential for the activity. Now the second group, the aniline amino. This is aniline amino. Aniline amino group is also essential. Is also essential. Number 3, the NH2 group, the two substituents on the benzene ring, NH2 and SO2 NH2 group must be 1,4 or para with respect to each other. Are you following? We are evaluating about the structure activity, antibacterial activity of the sulfonamide drug with respect to its structure. Number 1, SO2NH2 group is very essential for the antibacterial activity. Similarly, aniline amino, this NH2PH group, aniline amino group is also essential for the antibacterial activity. How we can say? Removal of SO2NH2 group lose the activity. That indicates SO2NH2 group is essential. Removal of aniline amino group is also lose its activity. Therefore essential. NH2 SO2 NH2 group must be para with respect to each other. If we change their positions from 1,4 to 1,3 or 1,2, it may lose its activity. So that the presence of the two substituent NH2 SO2 NH2 group on benzene ring must be para for its antibacterial activity. Is it clear? Number 4. Fourth one, replacement of benzene ring by the other. Other may be carbocyclic or heterocyclic. Replacement of benzene ring by the other ring, or substitution of benzene hydrogen. There are 4 hydrogen. Substitution of benzene hydrogen by the other group like alkyl or aryl or heteryl. It may decrease its activity. When benzene is substituted with the other SO2 NH2, substitution of benzene by the other, this ring may be carbocyclic or heterocyclic, whatever it may be, it decreases the activity. Or substitution of this benzene ring hydrogen by the alkyl group like this, H2N S double bond O NH2, say R group, again decrease the activity. So substituting hydrogen substituting benzene ring of sulfanilamide with other ring, or substituting hydrogen of aromatic ring, that is benzene ring, by the other alkyl or any other groups, it decrease the activity. Is it clear? Now coming to the fifth one, fifth relation, substitution of hydrogen on NH2 group by alkyl or aryl or heteryl. substitution of this NH2 group hydrogen by not NH2 group, hydrogen on nitrogen by alkyl, aryl or heteryl group, increase the activity. Is it clear? Now coming to sixth one, replacement of SO2 NH2 group by the other similar group lose the activity, that is H2N, say C double bond O NH2. Now replacement of this SO2 group by the other, it decrease or lose the activity. So we should not replace the SO2 group. Is it clear? Now replacement of hydrogen on SO2 NH2 group, that is hydrogen of nitrogen on sulfonamide group by alkyl, aryl or heteryl, increase the activity. The activity is more improved when hydrogen of sulfonamide group is replaced with heterocyclic ring. Seventh one, NHR. This is the relation. Is it clear? Now the structure activity relationship study of sulfonamide indicated that SO2 NH2 sulfonamide group is essential, aniline amino group is also essential. NH2 SO2 NH2 group sulfonamide and aniline amino group should be para with respect to each other. Is it clear? So this study indicated that we should not replace SO2 NH2 group, we should not replace NH2 group, that is aniline amino group, we should not change the position of the two substituents on benzene ring, they must be para with respect to each other. Now fourth guideline, replacement of benzene by the other lose the activity or decrease the activity, or sometimes replacement of hydrogen of benzene with alkyl again lose the activity or decrease the activity. So we should not change the benzene ring, either replacement of benzene ring or substitution of benzene ring. Is it clear? Now coming to the fifth one, aniline amino hydrogen, that is hydrogen on nitrogen on aniline amino group may be replaced by alkyl or aryl or heteryl, somewhat improve the activity. Similarly, if we change the SO2 group by the other, say NH2PHCONH2, if we change the SO2 group by the other similar type of other, it may decrease its activity or lose the activity. So we should not done this during its modification. Now last one, replacement of hydrogen of sulfonamide group by either alkyl or aryl or heteryl, it may increase the activity. The activity is dramatically increased when we replace aniline amino hydrogen with a heterocyclic ring. We will get new drug molecule with more activity. Is it clear? So this is about structure activity relationship study of sulfa drug or sulfonamide. For example, so this knowledge help us. The structure activity relationship study knowledge help us how and what to modify to get a new drug with an improved activity. So this study helped. What helped? This study helped us. If we want to get a new drug with more activity, we may change, we may substitute sulfonamide hydrogen with an heterocyclic ring. We will get new antibacterial drug with improved activity than the sulfonamide. See, now this study helped to change the structure of sulfonamide in this way. S double bond O, S double bond O, NH here. One hydrogen is replaced with a pyridine. with a pyridine to get sulfapyridine. Now there is no change in the NH2 group, there is no change in the benzene ring, there is no change in the SO2 group, but only sulfonamide hydrogen of NH2 group of sulfonamide is replaced with heterocyclic, that is pyridine, to get sulfapyridine, or H2N benzene ring, S double bond O, S double bond O, NH 2-thiophene, thiophene. Now this is second drug. Hydrogen of sulfonamide is replaced with thiophene, or sometimes diazine. Sometimes with diazine, H2N, S double bond O, S double bond O, NH diazine, nitrogen, 2-diazine, you see. So the structure activity relationship study indicates us the hydrogen of aniline amino can be replaced by alkyl, aryl or heteryl to get improved activity drugs, or it also suggested that the hydrogen of sulfonamide may be replaced with alkyl, aryl or heteryl groups, but in the case of heteryl substitution, the activity will be significantly increased. So that suggestion help us to develop a new antibacterial agents like sulfapyridine, sulfathiazole. Say you keep nitrogen, sulfathiazole, sulfadiazine, etc., sulfamethiazole, etc. Now only the structure activity relationship helped what to be changed, what not to be changed in a lead structure to get a new drugs with minimized unwanted physical property and with increased the desired biological activities. So structure activity relationship study for any drug is very important. Just we have to evaluate what part is essential for the activity. So keeping the essential part in the lead structure, by the modification of other parts which are not essential for the activity, we may improve its structure to get a new drug structures with increased or intensified activity, desired activities. So this is about structure activity relationship study of sulfa drug. Is it clear? Now in the next class you have to study two more structure activity relationship studies, one for benzodiazepine drug, other one for Taxol analog. We will discuss in the next lecture. So with this I conclude today's lecture. Along with this video I will also send the notes related to this class. You please carefully watch the video and learn the lecture. Now in the next class we will discuss about two structure activity relationship studies, and with that class the chapter will be completed. So second chapter includes 11 strategies for structural modification, 4 drug discoveries and 3 structure activity relationship studies. 11 strategies I have completed, and out of 4 drug discoveries, 1 drug discovery in this class we discussed. The 3 drug discoveries are discussed earlier in the first chapter. You may take the notes and lecture from the first chapter. And regarding the structure active relationship study, 1 structure active relationship study for sulfa drug is completed with this lecture, and the remaining 2 we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you very much.